Kelvin Nyakundi for Business and Sports. We are back at exactly, it's actually not the top of the hour. We're a little early today just because the IG and the spokesperson were very early today. So we begin the show on the second hour of of news hour very early. So let's bring the newspaper today on the same date, 10 years ago. Let's take a look at the headline before we begin our conversation tonight. Let's say what the Standard, that's the bold newspaper, the Standard, that is Duale on the edge with calls for him to step aside, mounting majority leader has gone too far this time. That was the headline in the Standard on the same date, the 17th of April. It was a Friday back in the year 2015. Joanna, if I'm not wrong, I can't say it clearly, but that was the heading of the Standard on the same date. More than 10 years ago, 2015. That's 9 years ago. The other story also caught split in the battle for Namwamba's ex-post, and Kidero, that was then governor, 3 members of parliament grilled by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over graft. The reason why we like bringing these headlines is to see if anything has changed since these headlines played out 10 years ago. You can imagine today there are other members of, not members of parliament, but former governor being grilled, and obviously former members of the government also being grilled by the EACC. Same things, the times have changed, but it's happening. Mwangi Wairia is being sought by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. He has a conservatory order, and we also know Kibunjia also has been summoned over graft. Same things, years have changed, but same things we are looking at. And Eden Duale has gone to be the Defense Cabinet Secretary in this government. All right, before we begin again, let's take a look at our video of the week. We'll play it before the end of the show, right at the beginning of the show. Here's the video of the week.
Siwezi ishi maisha ya Catherine Dereba, mkimbiaji wa ulimwengu mzima, alipata mamilioni. Sasa mimi nimewahi kimbia wapi? Sasa mimi naanza kushindana na Catherine Dereba. Ama where she lives in Karen. Can I go and near Karen? I can't. Mimi nakaa umuhumu tu. Nakaa umuhumu. So ndugu zanguni, let's live within. That is our biggest problem. Ya mwisho, ya tatu, as I sit. Peer pressure. Najua wenzangu hapa wameanza kuniangalia wanacheka kwa sababu ni mambo tumezungumuza sana. Mambo ya peer pressure. Juzi kuna vijana wamepass out pale Kiganjo hapa Januari. Walipass out Januari, saa nakutana nao kwa barabara wanakimbia na Subaru. Amefanya kazi miezi ngapi? Amekimbia pale kwa benki, amechukua loan milioni 3, anakimbia kununua Subaru. Na si ingine ni kutisha IG. Wakati niko kwa barabara nikiendesha kapika hapi yangu, wewe unataka kuni overtake, unaniwekea hazard. Sasa jamani, unatisha IG for what? Hii mambo ya peer pressure tafadhali itaharibu kazi yako. Na hata sisi wazee hapa tuko na hiyo shida. Hata sisi wazee, even at my level. Peer pressure. You remember I told you when I became the IG. When I became the IG, kwanza ikasemekana mimi ni accounting officer. I'm not the accounting officer. Accounting officer hapa babani. She sita December. Wakati nisemekana comment ya IG, hata kuna pesa zote za polisi. Sasa iko watu wanakuja kwa ofisi peers. Na pia Koome, watu wanajua kwanza unaishi wapi. Naenda Karen. Sasa jamani, pali nimeisha hata kama ni huku, nimekaa 22 years. Don't I enjoy my sleep? Another one came, akaniambia sasa hata vile tunaona IG, sasa wewe hata as you go to Karen, huyu mke wako ni mzee kidogo, tafuta mwingine wa kwenda Karen. Huyu mwingine amekuwa mzee, acha huko.
A good place to begin our discussion tonight on a light note. IG, did you go to Karen?
My good friend Karen, Ken, you know, I think let me start this way. You know, the responsibility bestowed on me as the Inspector General of the National Police of this country is quite heavy. protecting over 55 million lives of our people and their property. It is not just a simple responsibility. I will tell you from where I sit, and I've been a policeman for now about 33 years. I've seen people, young people, elderly people get in trouble because of peer pressure. As I've just stated, it's true. When I got into the office of the Inspector General, there are a number of people who came telling me, you are not the IG, relocate to Karen.
This is a true story.
It's a true story.
They came to you.
And where I've lived in parts of this city for 22 years, I've been comfortable. And till today, I live there. I enjoy my sleep. Why do I need to relocate, go elsewhere? Why go borrow heavy loan to purchase another parcel of land? Right? Just because of peer pressure. Therefore, Ken, and as I've told you, it's a serious problem in the service.
Okay.
Not just in the service, even in other professions.
Even right here,
I've
our lives improve.
I've seen even bankers.
Yes.
Bankers get into trouble because of heavy borrowing.
So in a nutshell, IG, you didn't go to Karen.
I did not.
You didn't marry a younger wife.
I'm not in a hurry to go there.
Okay. All right.
Whichever part of this city I live,
you will stay.
I enjoy my sleep.
Okay.
I did not marry a second wife.
Okay.
I'm still with my dear a first wife.
Okay.
And I'm okay. I'm comfortable.
Thank you. Dr. Resiila Onyango, the National Police Service spokesperson, is also joining us on the set tonight. We have so many questions to ask on this table. And I'll begin with the most current. IG, you threatened doctors with action. You told your officers to deal with them decisively. Yet, the doctors are exercising their right under Article 37 of the Constitution.
Ken, remember I mentioned to you that I have every responsibility on my shoulders. All right? I've mentioned it to protect lives and property of Kenyans and many foreigners in this country, to ensure there is law and order. You know what I keep telling friends and fellow Kenyans? We have a beautiful country. And I've always cherished this moment, getting opportunity to serve as the Inspector General of our beautiful country. You know, I don't know how many people know how beautiful this country is. Ken, I know you have traveled widely. I've traveled widely. I've been to all parts of this world. Dr. Resiila, I know she has traveled widely. All parts of this globe. Tell me, which other country is as beautiful as Kenya? 45 minutes, if you wanted, you are seated on a beach in Mombasa. Another 30 minutes, if you wanted to go to a cold place, you are somewhere in North Kenya. You want a desert? Just next, not far from here, Charibi Desert. Beautiful. Our people, Kenyans, are warm people. Very warm people. Ken, I'll tell you, our people are wonderful, Kenyans. When a Kenyan smells at you, the smell is from the heart. You have been to countries where somebody will smell at you, but it is fake smile. Our food is delicious, the best in the world. The climate, excellent.
I don't see where you're going with this.
What I'm saying,
I don't see where you're going with this.
The point is,
yes,
is for every Kenyan to have this country at heart. We all belong to this country. You know, there are some of us who think it's like some of us don't belong to this country. We are somewhere. Because, again, and what I was reading to, the statement I released the statement you have talked about, I mean, it was very clear. If I take you through that statement, paragraph by paragraph, I was just discharging my mandate as stipulated in the Constitution.
Constitution or the Police Act?
The Constitution.
But the Constitution
because if I take you,
doesn't allow
Ken,
you to stop
if I
them
take
from
you to
picketing.
the first paragraph,
Yes.
where I said that the National Police Service observes that that we have witnessed and received reports of inconveniences arising from this strike, with the medics lying on the streets, thus obstructing highways, public roads, disrupting free flow of vehicles and movement of people. That is the true position.
Yes, and
because
you expect that in protest. Yes.
And I carried a copy of the Constitution, which
Yes.
I read on daily basis. That same Constitution, under the Bill of Rights, I think Article 43, it says every person has the right for urgent or emergency medical attention. So imagine there is a patient who is in an ambulance, being moved from point A to point B.
And you're lying on the street.
Then doctors are lying on the streets. And that is what I talked about in the first paragraph.
Yes.
If there is that kind of situation, I will remove them. The officers will remove them so that those doctors lying on the highways, on the streets, are not infringing on the rights of others. This patient in an ambulance being moved to a hospital, he has
Right,
equal
also.
rights.
Yes.
So that is what I mentioned in the first paragraph.
Okay. Okay.
So in my letter, in my statement to the press, there is nowhere I talked about stopping picketing. That's the right of every Kenyan. But when you are breaking the law,
You must come in.
when you are inconveniencing other people, I'll tell you. I'll give you another example. There's a day I was in a meeting at Harambee House. These doctors were moving along Harambee Avenue,
Heading to Parliament.
blowing vuvuzela and whistles. We could not even transact any business in that meeting because there was a lot of noise.
Okay.
They were blowing these vuvuzelas very hard for about 30 minutes.
You
We have
couldn't
to stop. We have to
okay.
stop the meeting. Do you want us to continue that way?
I understand your inconveniences, and what you're saying is valid under Article 43.2. My question is, prior to any of such actions under Article 37, there is notice given to the police. Why can't you people, or why couldn't the officers change their course? If the officers were protecting that protest, why could they change their course or give them alternatives instead of allowing them to be in an area of inconvenience? It goes to your officers. The blame goes to your officers and not them as the doctors or the medics.
Well, one I can. And that is what I was doing. I didn't want to be told I'm sleeping on the job. That's why I released this a press statement telling the doctors, don't break the law. You continue lying on the highways. You continue disrupting operations at the hospitals. As the IG, I can't just sit back, allow doctors who want to assist our patients are not able to discharge their duty because we have some other people who don't care at all.
Was the strike protected, IG? Is the doctor's strike protected under the law?
Are you aware there's a court order stopping that, Ken? There's a court order.
I am aware of the court order. I'm also aware of a court order instructing the government to pay the doctors and honor the CBA. So court orders are not going to be the subject. What I want to know, is it protected in terms of your officers going ahead and behind the doctors so that such things don't occur? Or your officers kept off the strike completely?
Ken, and what I would like to inform fellow Kenyans, and my statement is very clear. One, I did not mention anybody. What I did is to tell our doctors, our medics, please, as you demonstrate, as you picket, don't infringe on the rights of others. They are doctors, you know, again, I'm privy to classified information. I'm aware of that intelligence. There are doctors who are willing to go to the hospitals, attend to patients, but they're intimidated.
By the others who are on the street?
By the others.
Okay.
Do you allow that kind of, you know, somebody creating fear to a fellow Kenyan? Do you allow that kind of situation? Therefore, that's why I released this press statement. And I repeat, I did not mention anybody.
Exactly. But IJ, you haven't answered my question. My question is this strike protected regardless of the people who want to go to the hospital when they demonstrate? Because right now they have given notice that every Tuesday they'll be demonstrating. Are these strikes protected or they are on their own, IJ? As
I've stated, fine, doctors, they are free to picket. But look at Article 7 once more. It says that demonstration, the picketing must be peaceful.
Yes.
If there is breach of peace, if you're infringing on the rights of others, honestly, as the IG of this country, don't I have a role? Do you want to be accused for having slept on the job? I cannot allow that to happen again. I have a huge responsibility. And that's why, remember, I told you we have a beautiful country. Let's not destroy this country because of because of other intentions. Because what I'm reading here, I think there is, from where I sit, I think there is a hidden agenda.
With the doctors?
Yes.
Okay.
The direction we are taking, I mean, why do you allow fellow citizens to continue dying in hospital? Why do you allow this? Is it the right thing to do? And I'm aware, if you look at the labor laws, I think what is provided, just in case you go on strike, I think what is provided is you go to your place of work, you may decide not to do anything.
You sit in.
But not at all breaching a peace.
Okay. You once said, IG, and I know you told me you know where Madam comes in, right?
Yes.
But you once said that you are not afraid of the ICC. I'll go back to the doctors. You have acted on the behest of the executive. Now, the executive right now are saying doctors must go back to work. There's no negotiation. It's an imperative before we can sit. Don't you think the 55 million Kenyans you say you're protecting look at you and sometimes say, what if the president has taken this line, the CSs have taken, that is the whole executive, and the IG seems to be taking this line. They don't think you are independent, IG.
Okay. You know, and remember, I swore to protect the constitution of this country when I took over this office. I don't know why the Kenyans or whoever is complaining against me, I don't know out of what reasons. You know, I think our people, and I'll tell you, this office I occupy is not for any faint, just any weak person. You need to be strong, right? Because remember, I told you it's protecting life and property, ensuring there's law and order. You need to be very firm, stamp authority. If you're not strong, I'll tell you, by the time you retire, you'll have died over 1,000 times. Right? Somebody comes up, tells you you are doing this, you go to ICC, you collapse, you die, then by chance you wake up, you survive. Those threats, I'm used to those kind of threats. Yes, it was said at some stage, I'll go to ICC.
Yes. Because of violating the very rights of Kenyans when they're exercising their right. That was the context of you will be taken to the ICC.
Because of discharging my mandate to the best of my ability. Ken, that time we are losing this country. And I don't stamp authority as the Inspector General of this country, would have lost the country. And that I will not allow, as long as I'm in this office. This country is dear to me, Ken. And when I look at you, I don't think you love this country more than myself. It is dear to me. I cannot allow anything wrong to happen in this country.
You do the same thing you did.
As long as in the office, anything wants to this country to fail, right? That's my enemy.
Okay.
This country must survive until I hand over to somebody else.
My concern, IG, and I agree with you, this country has to be protected. Kenyans have to be protected. Property has to be protected. But at the cost of you being viewed as going against the very instrument that you saw with to protect. Because every time you take action as the IG or police, they look at your action based on what you saw against. At that expense, you will take the same decisions?
Ken, I hope you've gone through this.
Yes.
Where, please, can you point out where I stated anything contrary to the provisions of the Constitution? Point out, please.
I was asking this in relation to when you're viewed, because Kenyans look at you as the Inspector General of Police in an independent office under the Interior Ministry. So when you take a decision that is seen to be a decision taken by the executive, and the IG adopts that decision, don't you think you're seen as supporting the executive against the rest of Kenyans? That is my question, IG.
Ken, you know, the office of the IG, this is not a populist contest. I'm telling you, the time you'll have a popular IG in this country, if I attempted to be popular, then I will not be discharging my merit well.
Okay.
Anytime you'll have a popular IG, then that will be sending a signal, a wrong signal. This is not a popular contest.
You don't want to be popular?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. This is not politics. Right? It's about survival of this country. Right? Ensuring the country is safe and secure. Right? And remember, everybody in this city, kila mtu anasema alikuja kutafuta. Kila mtu kwa hii city alikuja kutafuta. Kuchukua, kutafuta.
Could also mean kuchukua.
Yes, even if you have that golden chain link.
Yes.
Right? You want to grab it, wherever, you know. So that's why I become unpopular, because I must ensure
that chain doesn't go
with that intention, it does not succeed.
Okay. Okay.
And Ken, we're working very well as a National Police Service. Tell me, when did you last hear of a bank robbery in this city or in this country? When did you last hear of a bank robbery?
I hear of more petty crimes, and I'll talk about that.
Bank robberies.
Like the border
hijackings.
borders. Yes.
The country is safe and secure.
Carjackings are different, but I'll talk about those other forms of crime in IG. Yes. But I want to finish this topic as we talk about the doctor strike. It's not the first time that you're getting into crosshairs because of decisions you've made. Let me take you back to the protests that were happening also last year.
Yes.
There's a very unpopular comment you made, and to date you have never shown that indeed Azimio was getting bodies from the morgue. You've never demonstrated that, but you made that comment. Was it not a comment that you think was out of this world as the IG, claiming that without evidence and showing us that it was happening?
Ken, I'll tell you, I'll not mention the name of, there's a leader who came to my office recently. And he asked me, IG, how were you able to detect what exactly we were doing? He confirmed, actually that is what they were doing. Yes, let me not mention, given a name here.
That's okay.
But somebody came before me and confirmed that is actually what was happening.
They were taking bodies from the
anyway,
morgue
that's
using the protest.
Anyway, we have crossed the bridge. We are not there now. We sorted out that problem. We are moving on with our lives. Right? The country is safe and secure.
And that's what
we are now confronting other threats. We are now confronting other threats with the security of our beautiful country, right? And my assurance to you is that the members of the National Police Service who are patriotic, who love their country, who are committed, are ready to confront any threat to the security, internal security, and threat of this country. The country is safe and secure.
So I understand, and we are grateful for the work the officers do every day.
Yes.
I drive out of this place at 11 p.m. and I'm sure I'm getting to my home without a hitch, and we are very grateful for that. But as a person who answers to Kenyans, right? That position is a taxpayer's position. They pay you with their taxes. I want to know that indeed this, what you said then, was true and not a statement to justify the move on the protesters, the tear gas that were lobbied, including on leaders of this country. It was not used as a justification then, IG, to do what happened, because people lost their lives. There were gunshots that were aimed at leaders' cars. Was it not a statement that was used by you to justify what was happening at that time that was completely unfounded and without evidence at that time, IG?
My good friend Ken, don't push words into the mouth.
Okay, explain to me.
I don't think I talked about, I mentioned that any gun directed to any
No,
leader.
I'm mentioning, that is me. That is me mentioning.
I know tear gas canisters were used, but those are public order management equipment. Bought for us by the citizens of this country. We do not use any item, any part of equipment, not bought by our people, to protect them. Therefore, what we did was to use all resources at our disposal to ensure the survival of this country. And that's why what I'm telling you, at the moment, the officers are ready.
You will make the same decision.
We are ready to ensure this country moves on. We have a better country even for the generation to come. Yes.
This is not the first time, IG, you're being quoted as having done this. In 2017, I think there was also a protest that was broken and you were captured on camera stoning cars, IG. Was that you? And why would you degenerate into an officer? Because you were senior, you're not IG then, but you were a senior officer and you were captured. I think we even have the picture of you stoning cars. Was that you? And why would you do that as a police officer?
Ken, I'm aware of the picture you're talking about. You know, I'm used to threat, intimidation, allegation against me. Haven't you seen in social media some people saying I'm D material? Do you think I'm really D material? Did I go to university to do civil engineering with a grade D? So all those allegations, that was not me.
The picture wasn't you.
I know the picture you're talking about.
It's right there. Luckily we got it.
Let me tell you, that officer, I know the officer. The officer retired. The officer is a senior citizen. That officer retired. He's enjoying his retirement. It's not me. It's not me. That happened in 2017. I'm aware. 2017, early 2018, that officer retired. Let me not mention.
Don't mention that. If it's not you.
He's enjoying his retirement. That is not.
I wish we had the video that would flip that face.
No, it's not Japheth. It's not me. At that time, I was, senior. I was a regional police commander in Nairobi. You could not. Can you imagine the regional police commander throwing a stone? That was a much junior officer.
The junior, and he's retired.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Moving away from that. So tonight, what do you tell the doctors as we move away from that? Because they have to picket, they have to demonstrate going forward. You have to protect them. You have to protect the rule of law, and above all, protect the property and lives of Kenyans. What are you telling them? Because they've said they're still going to the streets, IG.
You know, Ken, I have no knowledge in labor issues. It's not my business. My business is to ensure property, life is protected. There is law and order. And please go back to my statement. It's very clear. Let's not go blowing these vuvuzela whistles next to hospitals. There are sick people in hospitals. Honestly, let's be fair. There's a patient in hospital bed. Then next to that ward, you are blowing a vuvuzela. Let's stop that. We are not going to allow that.
Stop lying on the streets also.
Stop. Let's stop. Let's stop lying on the streets. Let's stop lying on the highways. let's stop obstructing traffic. People in other offices won't work. Don't disrupt the progress of this country. That is my humble request as the IG. But remember, there is a forced discipline and self-discipline. Right? At times, we are going to be right. We can't allow this to continue. Where you disrupt operations in hospitals, it will not be allowed.
Okay. I'd like to bring in another discussion that I see the two of you tonight, and I like the green jungle uniform.
Yes.
I just like to do away with it.
Yes.
The last time you introduced these uniforms, there was supposed to be public participation.
Yes.
So my first question, and a lot of viewers tonight wanted to know, why is it necessary to change from this beautiful outfit to other outfits? Perhaps you can answer that.
Maybe I'll give
Yes.
Daktari an opportunity.
Yes.
For gender sensitivity, so that it's not just them talking.
Okay.
That's why I brought her along. But let me start,
Yes.
Ken. Then I hand over to Daktari.
Thank you, sir.
This is part of our reform agenda. Because when I got into the office, I realized the officers, the uniform they were putting on, they were not happy with it. And some would tell me, sir, we are not with this uniform. Imagine an officer putting on that uniform at 6 a.m. We'll have it on the whole day. He's putting on something he does not like. What's the implication? He's unhappy the whole day. Therefore, it has a negative effect to service delivery. So the government took up our proposal, and we looked at many samples. We went around presenting to the officers. They participated among other stakeholders. And finally, we settled on new uniform.
IG, perhaps tell us, who are these other stakeholders? I'd like to know, apart from the uniformed officers, who are these other stakeholders who get their input on this?
Ken, I don't know how you missed that, because we involved everybody. It was all over in the media. I don't know how you missed it, because we involved even communities out there, right? All the formations in the service. Anyway, finally we settled on the new uniform. Now we are at the stage of procuring, but it's expensive.
Okay.
So the government is, and I wish to take this opportunity to convey my appreciation to the Commander-in-Chief. The President of this country is very committed towards ensuring the officers are properly kitted. Is a matter is addressing.
So this issue has been dealt with.
It has been dealt with. It's just procuring.
Okay. It's just procuring. What do you mean procuring? Are we getting them from outside, or are we getting them from?
No, it's local. It's local.
It's local, because I went to the NYS and I saw them doing the uniforms. That would have been important.
We are buying Kenya, build Kenya.
Okay, they're being
so it's local.
locally.
Everything is local.
Okay.
Therefore, maybe.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Daktari can.
Yeah, maybe just to add that we are only changing for the Kenya Police Service.
Okay.
Yeah, this jungle is not changing.
Oh, it will remain.
It's the general duty uniform. So AP is not, the APS is not changing. GSU is not changing. Yeah.
Okay. General duty are the people we called the administration police.
Maybe to assist the Daktari. We have in the service, we have about 4 sets of uniform.
Yeah.
We have the general duty uniform, the officer at the police station. When you go to Langata police station, the officer you find it there.
Yeah,
that's the general duty police uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the GSU uniform, what I'm putting on, and officers in the operation areas. Those arid, semi-arid areas. And then we have the uniform for the APS, Administration Police Service, right? Then we have uniform for the National Police Reserve. So three sets. Yes.
Okay. So just clarify to me again, who is having new uniforms and who is
everybody. But we are not changing. We are not changing. What we are changing The only uniform we are changing is for the general duty police officers.
Only?
The officers at the police station.
Okay.
But for the GSU, the officers in the operation area will remain with what I have on.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to know, because that was a huge concern. They wanted to know because they thought we have very beautiful. I think that clarification now suffices to explain that.
It is better what you've come up with.
Yeah.
Always decent. It has a jacket. There is a trouser, a shirt, and a jacket. It comes out very nicely.
Okay.
But this time, every set of uniform will have the name tag. The name tag on, permanently on. No, the officer cannot remove it. Just like mine. The way mine is permanently stitched. You cannot remove it. Therefore, a Mwananchi out there can tell it is Koome patrolling our estate.
Okay.
If there is any complaint against me, they are able to capture.
That's the mischief you're trying to address with
That's
having
the thing.
Embroidered there permanently.
No mischief. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess those are. Is this the one that you're proposing?
But we've changed the numbers. Those false numerals are too big. We have redecided that. But again, it improved the knitting a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
But this is how general they will generally look like.
Exactly.
Okay. Now that we're talking about this, is there a proposal? Is there one proposal once again to disintegrate or break the service to what it used to be, or you're still holding it together? And if so, what is the reason for that?
Again, remember I started by telling you there is a constitution I swore to protect. And that constitution says we have two services: Administration Police Service, Kenya Police Service, and the DCI. Right? That is what is I command. So I'm not aware of any other arrangement. So we continue stipulated in the constitution having the two services and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Those three. Then the NPR.
Which is separate.
It's not really separate. A report to a DIG, Kenya Police Service. So until the constitution is amended, I cannot say anything different.
What was the reason why they decided to merge the forces and not to keep them as the three as you separated them? Because you're using the constitution to justify what's happening, but I think in the last few years we've had the service as one. What was the reason behind it?
Ken, you know this, it will take a bit of time for me to explain to you.
Okay.
But this is how we are structured. We have the Inspector General at the top. Then under me, there are two Deputy Inspector General. Kenya Police Service is responsibility is public safety and security. Then we have the Deputy Inspector General, Administration Police Service. His mandate is border security. Right? Our porous border. That is responsibility. Specialized cattle rustling is called anti-stealth theft unit. That is the responsibility of the Administration Police Service. Guarding critical infrastructure, right, among others. Then the DCI. The DCI is major role is it reports to the Inspector General. His major role is investigating major crimes, right? Then the other one is the transnational, right, a crime,
where Interpol
money
is involved.
laundering. Then among others. Then the DCI is our link to other policing mechanism. The DCI is the link between our service and the IAPCO. IAPCO is the East African Police Chiefs Organization. 14 countries. We have come together from Seychelles all the way to Sudan. Then AFRIPO. That is the continental policing mechanism. DCI is the link. Incidentally, I'm the president of AFRIPO, the continental policing mechanism. And then Interpol. DCI still is the link between us and that, the global policing mechanism. So that is the arrangement.
Okay.
It's working very well for us.
Okay.
But if Kenyans decide to say to change that arrangement, who am I to say no?
What would it take in the constitution? An amendment, a referendum, or is a simple parliamentary?
Must be an amendment.
That's a parliamentary amendment.
Yeah, it's beyond the edge.
Okay.
Yes.
So you like the way it is, and you don't see it, because I'm in my mind I see that you're using the existing structure to justify that.
No, it's
but
great.
there's a huge concern.
Working very well.
Why is it happening?
It's working.
It's
very well.
working very well.
Working very well. Working very well for this country.
Okay.
There's order.
So there's no point of changing this.
But it's only the fools who don't change, their thinking. If I'm convinced otherwise,
You would.
fine. But as I sit here, the arrangement we're in is working well for this country.
Okay, so can we talk about what could be working and not working for the officers, the welfare of the police officers? And I'd like to draw your attention to the report by the former CJ, Maraga's team. And one of the things that they talked about was the basic salary of members of the three forces, as you mentioned, to be increased by 40% at the lowest constable level, right? Where is this? Where has it gotten to? Because this task force was appointed by President William Ruto, went around, collected views, and that was one of the recommendations. And part of the questions that we got today were about the welfare of the officers, especially the low cadre officers.
Again, I'll give Dr. Onyango an opportunity to contribute on this. But however, first it did to thank His Excellency the President most sincerely for appointing that task force. Quite a lot came out. We are now unpacking. There's a team unpacking that report. But let me give Dr. an opportunity to say something about it. It's part of that team.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, just as the IG is saying, the report has already been submitted to His Excellency the President, and really, it is the process of unpacking that is going on.
Okay.
That is what is going to inform the implementation process once they are done. Yeah, so as at now, there is really not much that you can talk about it other than the technical team has been unpacking so that we understand it's a big document, so we have to understand it, and then we'll be able to roll it from there.
I might ask a technical question. Why didn't we proceed with this team? I don't know who can answer. Why didn't we proceed with the Maraga team to unpack it for us? November last year, now, I mean, there must be anxiety, especially to the officers. How long do you think it will be reasonable before we can see the results from that committee?
Ken, I think that is beyond us.
Okay.
You know what the task force did after they did their work? They are handed over the report to the appointing authority, right? Then we put together a team to unpack the report, because there are many recommendations. But something is being done for the good of the officers, I assure you.
Okay.
I've looked at that report. There are good things there.
But this technical team set by you, IG, must have the TOR, stamps of reference. Was this not part of their TOR? Because if you give them time, they could unpack it in 3 years. Do they have a TOR that limits their time in looking at this document?
Incidentally, they're just about to complete. In another 1 week, they'll have completed. They're just about to complete. They're just final stages. Yes.
Okay. What is right at the top of the welfare, if you think of your officers? What would you put right at the top? Because you have been in this for a while. You have served for 33 years. You know the needs and the urgent needs. You can classify actually the needs of the officers. What will you put right at the top of this as the welfare of the officers?
Okay. Housing, better houses. Housing is key to the officers. The situation, the condition they live in is pathetic. That's the truth. Let's hit the nail there at the end. But that is being addressed. I assure the officers, some of them, they own their homes in Nairobi. Some of the officers will own houses in some of the posh estates in this city. Because the government is putting up houses, and there will be a beneficiary. They will be able to buy these houses. So it's among the good things.
So housing is right at the top.
It is. Housing is key. Then, of course, their salary.
Remuneration.
The remuneration is another thing. But the other thing is the medical cover.
Okay.
That is also is dear to the officers, because our duty really, us and the injury is part of us, because we deal with firearms. So that aspect of their medical aspects, then how they will be taken care of after retirement.
Retirement benefits.
Retirement benefits. Those are some of the issues, the good things, among others.
One of the things that they said that I think was of interest to me is the increase by 40%. So I'm just imagining if you're earning 30,000 right now, it goes to 12. As the Inspector General of Police, you think, you believe that's sufficient for your officers, or you would have urged the committee to do a little better than that for the duties and responsibilities your officers have?
Okay. I'm a member of a disciplinary service. What always comes first is service to my country, is service to the country. And every officer swore to discharge that mandate. We have presented our case, right? I think let the officers wait, but I can assure them that I can see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Having spoken about that, the other concern is, IG, during the time you have been the Inspector General of Police, with the kind of organization, intelligence you have, is it not true that there's a lot of banditry incidences that we have been reporting? There's a lot of attacks in the northern part of the country. The traditional banditry areas are back in the limelight. And one of the things, IG, I remember is the president addressing this, and he said, lay down arms, and he used a Swahili word. He said, nasio tafadhali. It's still happening. Are you assuring those areas also of their security? And first, what's happening? Why is it that it looks to be an escalation every single day? I sit here and we have to report a banditry attack, raid here, bus here. What's happening?
Ken, one thing, I'm encouraged by the commitment I see in the head of states, the commitment I see in the Commander-in-Chief regarding this matter. It has never happened another time. Was it yesterday? Somebody was telling me cattle restoring was there, I think in 1939.
It's been there for a while.
It has been there for a while.
Yes.
But previously what would happen? We would deploy within those areas, then in a short while, we pull out. Ken, we don't intend to leave from those. Actually, they are now, they should be 7, initially there were 6. I think there are now 9 counties. Yes, because we have handed a part of Meru, Isiolo, and
then Laikipia, sir.
Laikipia.
Yes, sir.
Laikipia. All these places where we have banditry, cattle restoring. Actually, it is livestock clustering. There is more sheep and goats stolen than cows. It's livestock clustering. This is the organized a criminal enterprise. We are not pulling out from there in the near future. But Ken, the dynamics in these areas are quite difficult. It's quite tricky. We have been there for a while. I think so far we have recovered about 184 firearms.
Yes, sir. Yes.
184 firearms recovered so far.
From these areas
Since
areas?
we started this operation in February.
Okay.
We have recovered 184 firearms.
2 months, 184 firearms.
184
voluntarily returned or recovered?
184 illegal firearms.
Okay.
Out there to hurt our people. We have arrested about 251 people.
Yes, sir.
A number have been neutralized. We've recovered almost 11,600
yes.
Livestock. There's a lot of commitment. There's a lot going on. The only place we have a problem is Baringo. And I went there. I was there a week ago. And a long discussion with the governor of Baringo. Because Baringo, we have a problem. Because there are issues maybe I would not like to discuss here.
Okay.
We are discussing with the leaders there so that the hatred I see there is addressed. So that we work as a team. As the security as we do our part, the hard part. Then there is a soft part. Right? We need to talk to people there so that they can change maybe how things have been done.
You will negotiate with them?
That's not for the IG. Mine is to do the other part.
That's
Deal
for
with
the
the criminal
county the county government.
But the leaders, the local leaders there, right? The governor, the MPs, the senator, they have a role. Want to engage them. The religious leaders there, right? Opinion shapers around there. We want to involve them in terms of managing the soft aspect of this operation. Open up schools, right? Open up roads. Maybe we also need to these youths, because you find in this banditry, it's very young people involved. 15 years, 17 years, at most 25 years. Young people who should be in school. So there's the dynamics. That's what I'm saying. The dynamics behind all this is a bit complicated. But there's a lot happening because it really can. In Kenya, our beautiful country. In Nairobi, you're talking about the expressway. Look at the expressway. Beautiful infrastructure. Then some other parts of the country, people are just running after a cow, killing one another over a cow. I think the thinking of our people, right? We take our people to school, right? We open up these places. Therefore, there's a lot which needs to be done. We are not pulling out from there in the near future.
Okay. And northeastern Kenya? The eastern part of the country?
Northeastern, I'm happy to report that place is now, we thank God, Allah blessings, it is safe and secure. It is safe.
The raids on the buses, on the road and all that?
What used to have was IEDs. We used to have improvised explosive devices laid along the highways, roads there. Actually, I have had many casualties from the service. Yeah. A number of my officers have been injured out of those IEDs. But there is a strategy we have put in place, multi-agency approach. We're working very well, incidentally, with the other security organs, right? The CDF, the DGNIS, working very well, and then GAO. And that has really helped in managing through intelligence-led policing. We have been able to kind of ensure that place is calm.
Okay.
Yes.
This brings me to the question about a policy that seems to be coming up when the government says they will not be vetting for ID cards. IG, will this complicate your work or help you in improving security of this country when we go that direction where we will have ID cards issued without proper vetting or complete vetting?
Ken, as we do our policy, that is our role, right? Ensuring the country is safe and secure. But we have a responsibility to facilitate the trade, right? We would not like to be an hindrance, It's like we are not facilitating trade. We are not facilitating free movement of our people. Therefore, if there is that policy by the government, of course it will have to be properly, seriously thought through, so that there is no compromise to the security of this country. But I know we have the capacity, right, to support that. to ensure it is done without compromising the security of the country. Of course, that is what is key. But it's true that has been an issue for quite a while. You know, people in northern part of this country acquiring IDs, they have been inconvenienced. That is the truth. And they are Kenyans. They are part of this country. Why do we want them to be inconvenienced? For no reason.
Okay.
So we are there to facilitate, ensure that that discomfort is not there.
Okay.
Let's not be, as a service, we would not like to be hindrance, right? We would like to support policies of the government, but remember, I've told you, without compromising security of the country.
Okay, so what you're saying, because you say this policy will have to be thought really well so that we don't compromise the security of the country. What are you telling us? Is it in the process that is being thought, or it's already in the final stages and we'll see people getting IDs without proper vetting or vetting at all? Where is it? At what stage is this?
I'm not authority in that area. Remember, this is an issue which requires a multi-agency approach. There are many players, right?
Including you inside.
Yes,
there.
but
yes.
I'm not the spokesperson of that
multi-agency team. Okay.
I'm not. But I'm part of the players. But what I'm saying, I would not like to be seen as the IG is the difficult one.
Okay.
As long as we are not compromising the security of our country.
But do you have reservations as the IG on this?
I'm not. I don't have any reservations. I'm assuring you, if this is the wish of the government, mine is to ban the midnight oil, to ensure we achieve the objective of the government, we don't inconvenience our people, facilitate trade, but still ensure we are not compromising the safety, security of our country.
Okay.
That is key.
You mentioned we are running out of time. There's so many issues to talk about IG, but
I'm not in a hurry.
You're not in a hurry. I'm going to ask my boss to add us a little time to complete this.
Yes.
Petty crimes. Petty crimes including corruption. We see a lot of policemen being arrested because of crimes such as corruption. But my interest really is about the border menace, IG. Increasingly in this town, just the other day there's a video doing rounds on Instagram and TikTok of a lady who is walking with a spouse and someone just took the bag and rode away. It's just one incident, and I know you've had several reports. How do you plan to deal with this menace of criminals on borders?
I will not sit here to be on the defensive at all. You mentioned corruption in the service. It is true, it is there.
And number one,
that is the truth, it is there.
Yes.
The truth, it is there.
Yes.
I'll tell you, my policy as the IG, it is quality service and not quantity. Right? Any officer, and we are not going to victimize anybody based on evidence. If we get evidence, tangible evidence, that any officer is involved in any misconduct, is involved in corruption, you'll not be in the service. You recall, just last week, and I thank that member of the public who captured that officer who was collecting bribes somewhere in Umoja.
Yes.
Immediately that was brought to my attention. The following day, that officer has been suspended. What suspension means is removed from the police house, the salary is discontinued, it goes back to his rural home, and you'll be reporting to the local police station as we complete his dismissal proceedings. Because I must involve the commission when it comes to dismissal. So, any officer, whoever it is, who is involved in an ethical practice, you will have to leave the service. We have a responsibility to serve this country, Ken. There are many people, I'll tell you, who want opportunity to put on this uniform. I've been given this privilege by Kenyans. Then I abuse it. That is evil. I've gone out there talking to officers. There's a clip you played there. Telling them, please, colleagues, live within your means. Live within your means. Keep off peer pressure. So if any of my officer is involved in corrupt practices, right, we'll have to exit the service.
Okay.
The other issue mentioned was
petty, but
yes,
very
border
serious crimes. Yes,
borders. You know, again, it's very unfortunate. We are today, 17th April. From January, we have already lost 320 border riders dead.
To road accident.
Out of accidents. Okay. 320 dead.
Where location? Across the
that
country?
That is countrywide.
Countrywide, 320. Okay.
Period passengers. Passengers of the borders. Up to date, we have 118 dead. Those cycling, bicycles, we have 26 dead. In total, up to date, we have 1387 Kenyans who have died out of road accidents. Now, we have reached at a point where we have no option. This border industry, we must get out of our way. We must do everything possible within our ability to ensure this order in border. It's very popular mode of transport, very popular with our people, and many of our people earn their living out of that industry. Actually, as I was driving to this facility, I met one who was riding on the opposite side of
on the highway.
On the highway, we are on the same lane. I'm driving down, he's going up. You've seen at the roundabout, we expect you to turn, is it clockwise? They are doing it anti-clockwise. That can't continue. What have we done? Actually, just today, this morning, it is that the president launched the strategic plan, right, regarding safety in our highways. We have no option. We want to involve the counties. Because, again, we have 2.5 million borders in the country. I'm told the active ones are about 1.8 million. This one managing at the national level is a bit tricky. We must bring the county government on board. That is a very serious discussion we need to have. But we cannot continue this way, where they're involved in criminal activities. They are dying. I think that we cannot allow this. We cannot excuse if you allow this to continue. But this is a major discussion.
Okay. As we end the show, because I'm told we are running out of time, I'd like to take you back to an issue that is very important. There are several quarters that have called for your resignation on account of them thinking that the IG is not performing optimally. Is this something you have considered, that now that Kenyans who put you there, who pay their money, are saying IG must leave, politicians included, civil society included? Or is that something that you will consider as the IG? And if yes, if no, why wouldn't you consider that?
Ken, you want me to respond to that?
Yes,
that's
because Kenyans are saying
a politician a politician stood somewhere in a funeral, I think, and stated
based on what we have discussed,
and stated that the IG should resign.
Yes.
You want me to respond to that?
Based on what we have discussed,
is that really appropriate? You know,
the rule of law.
Ken,
yes.
You know, I'm paid by it's the taxpayers. They pay me, right? And there's freedom of expression. Why don't I allow our people to say whatever they want to say about the IG? I'm not feeling any pain, right? In any case, Ken, I don't have any young child, so they are not bullied All my children are adults. They are not bullied by the discussion out there. Right? My dear wife, she's not worried at all by that discussion. Why don't we allow Kenyans to express? But is that how the IG is removed from the office? The procedure for removing the IG from the office is clearly stipulated in the Constitution.
That's why they're saying
not in funerals.
Yes.
Not in funerals. It is clearly stipulated. That's the thing, Ken. I assure you, even if I exited, and that's why I came along with this Assistant Inspector General.
Yes.
I have many competent officers who can take over from me, right? There are many others. There's a lady can take over, among others. Among others, I'm mentoring. There are many I'm mentoring. Succession management, right? So I'm not worried. I'm discharging my mandate to the best of my ability. I asked you, when did you last have a bank robbery in Nairobi? Do you know before I took over, our women, our ladies were being mugged at the CBD during the day.
That's still happening, I
No. Let me tell you. Okay, just a moment. Let me finish. That time, there was no jogging at Karura Forest. Go to Karura Forest tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. You find that forest is full of people jogging. This no longer, this marking is not there. If it's there, you can never eradicate crime. Maybe one or two, right? But when we get whoever those doing that, we deal with them. I would not like to mention terrorism. God forbid something happening. When did you of any incident? There is a lot happening in terms of securing this country. Just because one county, but when we lose one Kenyan, when I lose one Kenyan out of the 55 million Kenyans, I feel it.
It's one too much. Too.
It is painful. But we are doing everything possible as a service.
Okay.
What I'm calling for is support by everybody, even the leaders. Please, let's not point fingers. It will not take us anywhere. Koome will exit. Resiila will be there, or somebody else will come in, and the finger pointing
will continue.
The finger pointing will continue.
Okay.
Let's build synergy. Let's work together to secure our country. Let us have goodwill towards one another.
Okay. I finally, because I'd like to ask you if you have gotten the brief about the fake certificates in the government and you take action. But I want to know this. On that breath, now that you've spoken about you have to discharge your duty, one of the duties that you are expected, because I see this coming in, is will you now promise to allow or to adhere to court order that says do not disrupt this ongoing civil disobedience? Will you promise the doctors you will not interfere so long as they are obeying the law?
Ken, which is this court order? Maybe it has been served to you on my behalf. I've not seen it. Maybe you have it for me.
But
I've not seen it. I've not been served, Ken. I'm reading.
Is that not an excuse
I'm reading this in the media.
Adhere to this court order?
I also go. I go quite very active in the social media. And I see.
That's another question. The last time you posted was 2013 on X. I'm wondering, and you'll tell us why you're not so active on social media.
Ken.
Yes. But
that court I have not received. I have not been served within the court order. I will continue discharging, not just me, even my officers. I'm just a team leader. I'm a team leader. I have many. The idea.
But how do I serve you as IG?
Let me tell you.
Do I walk to your office?
Ken, we are not going to be intimidated. We are not going to be threatened. We are not at all subjected to any kind of harassment. We are going to discharge our mandate, our responsibility without fear or favor, which is very heavy. Remember I told you, protecting 55 million lives.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yes, but it's in your hands.
Protecting their property.
It's in your hands.
So if I was a coward,
if
I was faint-hearted, you know, somebody shouting around there, then I go under the table. That will not happen.
So what you're saying is because you've not received the court order, you will stand firm.
Even I'm not aware it exists. Is it there?
But you said you've been reading about it. That's taking judicial notice of what's happening.
Reading it in social media, but I mean, I don't know.
Newspaper, we are very credible.
Well, anyway, I'm not being served. I'm meant to be served. I'm meant to be served.
You know, strikes are by nature, IG, meant to be very disruptive. So if you don't want them to be disruptive.
That disruption, please, let's.
But in nature,
me, I'm used to order. Where I come from and where she comes from, we are used to order.
Because it's a discipline force.
Yes, we are used to order. Let's have order.
Yeah.
Let's have order.
Okay. Okay. So I want to let you go, but I need to know, IG, you are a very serious man. What do you do for fun when you're not? And do you sleep at night sounding?
Can I tell you? I remember I told you this is a very serious job. And you need to make a decision. One, when you get to this office, you become very lonely. Become very lonely. The truth is, you never see me in any social place. You never. Right? Yes, this phone is never off. Call at 2 a.m., I'll pick it. So it's you to decide whether you want to serve as the IG of this country, right? Or you want to keep jumping from one social place to another one. You want, after this, you switch off the phone.
You sleep?
You sleep. It's your choice.
It's your choice.
But remember, a serious mandate. Right? But you know, having been picked by the commander-in-chief, is yesterday the president. One out of many police officers.
Close to 100,000.
Confidence in the confidence in me.
Okay.
You can't take that for granted.
I know. Let me ask Madam Daktari, what do you do for fun? Because we see policemen as very serious. Do you even have time for yourself?
Yes, we are human beings.
Off the uniform?
Yes, we are human beings. We live very normal lives, but our work is complex.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have to.
It's not
strict and narrow.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I have a lot of questions, but I've been told I'm running out of time.
Thank you, Ken. Well done.
I just thank you so much for coming. It's the first ever interview.
I like that.
You know, when you all came in, you said you didn't know I was this tall. You confirmed to these people on TV that I'm tall.
Yes, Ken.
And you told me you should have joined the force.
Yes.
Is it too late?
I admire your height, Ken. I admire your height. I wish you joined the service. You would have fitted very well. But we shall have a side discussion. Yes. We shall have a side discussion.
No, you have positions for lawyers, so I can come as a lawyer, you know.
Several. Quite a number of lawyers in the service.
So
even medical doctors.
Even medical doctors.
They're with me.
Okay.
Yes.
As your parting shot, and I really want to hear from Daktari, the commitment to the police service that you are working on their welfare. Then I hear from the IG, then we close.
Yeah, the country is safe. Officers are very committed, and as officers, we remain committed to our constitutional mandate to serve our country. Yeah, thank you.
I have your number, and I'm going to have a conversation separate from the IG because today the IG was here. IG, your closing remarks.
Please, I take you back to the beauty of our country. We are blessed. We have a beautiful country. All of us, we have a responsibility to ensure we stand together, stick together, develop our country together for generations to come. For my officers, we are please, we don't talk too much. There is a lot we are doing in terms of your welfare. A lot is happening.
Okay.
A lot is going on. Ken, you are patriotic officers, committed officers who love their country. As we are talking, there is an officer who is protecting our common border with Somalia. They are there as we are seated here.
Okay.
We are spread all over the country. We have wonderful officers.
Having mentioned that, I think I'll have 30 seconds. The question that came up again is the discrimination in terms of promotions. There's favoritism, there's nepotism. Is that true or false, IG? Because this is a question that came from your officers, and I need you to tell them that there is no discrimination.
Ken, very fast. You know what we do? Our promotion is such that is kind of, we have what we call promotion boards, right? Which start right from the police station. There's a kind of peer review mechanism. So it is not the IG actually who promotes, but it will come from the police station, they do interviews there. They will agree it is this one to go to the county level. Interviews are done at the county level, regional level, all the way to the DIGs. Then finally we have what we call the National Police Service Board.
Okay.
We sit, ensure there is the image of the country, right? Everybody, every community is represented, among other factors. Then officers get their promotion.
Okay.
It's fair. It's fair.
So it's not a one-man decision.
It is not.
That you don't die.
It is right from the police station.
Okay.
Right from the OCS all the way to the IG.
Okay.
It's very fair.
Okay. You had made your closing statement, but I want to ask you how goons, when the Lands Minister went somewhere, I think it was in Kileleshwa, she was locked by people inside. That's a whole CS. And in Nakuru, how goons overpowered even the policemen when they were protecting that land that is in contention. I think it's Memorial Hospital in Kisumu. Just what happened? How comes your presence was not felt as police officers to that extent that a CS can be locked inside a compound, and in Nakuru, goons would overrun your officers? I know we had closed.
Ken, it's important to mention that.
Yes.
Did you, in this statement of the doctors, actually is among the things, the reason why I came up with this statement. Because did you see at some stage, goons got into the demonstration with the intention to harm the doctors? Did you see the other day it was in Gishu? People confronted doctors. And that's why I also want to protect the doctors. Because we are getting at a stage where ordinary people are saying these people now are not with us. Right? So that's why I'm cautious. So even as I was releasing this statement, I also want to protect the doctors. Okay. Because, you know, they live within the estates. And wananchi are getting fed up. Because they are watching as their people die in hospital. There is a doctor here who is a neighbor of a relative. He sees him or her running along the highways, the streets. Okay. So that's why I'm careful, because remember, as I've told you, the other day I saw wananchi confronting the doctors. The other day there were goons confronting doctors. So we need to be careful. Okay. So I want to protect everybody.
Take me back to Alice.
Even doctors are my clients.
Yes. Take me back to how a CS was locked inside a compound.
Now I know this is the Resiila, a parcel of land.
Yes,
is a Resiila.
Yes.
That parcel of land is in contention. It's a contentious matter. Let me not say something which may be an embarrassment to anybody, but I wish the IG was told
that we're heading there.
There's something we prepare an operation order, right? You know, if we know a VIP is going to point A, we are told in advance, then we prepare an operation order, right?
If you're not told, you
so
can't.
In that case, we are not told. So please, I may not be able to comment, but I know there is an issue with that part of land.
Okay. Finally, the Nakuru land. How did goons again overpower officers? The officers had to leave the memorial. How did that happen? And it's been long-standing and long-running.
You know, Ken, I need to be careful. Issues in court. I know that matter is still.
That's why I'm just selecting this small area.
It's still in the court.
Yes.
It's still in the court, and I know my county police commander Nakuru, and an issue with there was a contempt proceedings. So I think let's be careful. Let me not comment about that. There's a matter.
I've just picked a small area, IG, of how goons can overpower the officers, not the issue in court. Forget about that and the land, the contest. How do they get to do that?
I know you have reached a legal background. Let me not get in trouble. It's a matter in court.
A good place to end our discussion tonight.
Thank you.
IG, thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing. It's your first interview and we are honored we have it. I'm looking forward to having another one before your retirement at least. Asante sana, Dr. Onyango. Thank you so much for also coming and sharing. And thank you also for watching tonight. As always, we deem to do our best. Kenya is our business and we are Kenya and Kenya is our business. And the more we have these discussions, the more they help. And to the nurses, the medics on strike rather, you've heard it from the IG. Thank you so much for watching. We do this again whenever we have an opportunity to do it again on behalf of the whole team. Have a good night. God bless. Next week, same place, same time. Asante sana.
God bless you.
Thank you.